Welcome back, everyone. 皆さん、お帰りなさい。今日は65日目です。It is day 65. Due to our really elongated discussion yesterday about various things like politics, and some hypotheticals. We kind of shifted the rotation of our current set past 9 p.m. because I think this is either the 18-hour or the 24-hour distance. So today is going to be an abbreviated day. We are not waiting until 9 p.m. Got a lot to do. Today is also a new project. New project starts today. I am officially doing my first quote-unquote productive day of being 38, right? Technically yesterday was, but yeah, that's a great way to start another fresh year of life, right? All right, so let's quickly go over this stuff. What did I do here? Ne? Arriving ahead? What the heck did I do? Oh, Saki. Yeah, Saki. Oops. Saki mawari. Saki mawari. Mieru was to... Right. This was the interpretation and dialect. Not the other way around. Okay. Not too bad. I think we've been fairly consistent. In the WaniKani front. Okay, let's hop in. It's one of those days, like if you blink, you're going to miss it, right? Let's get into our review. I think most of the review are not from the current set because it should be greater. Should round out about 9 o'clock. Gintama. Of course it would be this word. Yeah.
北西 大学生
Oh, no. There's some vocabulary words. From the current. Katsuyoke.
Hirogaru.
Okay.
400
Yeah, there are some from the new set. because we kind of finished 50 of them, so there are some mixed in before our digression yesterday.
Ane.
Ane. Oops.
So.
So.
青空
青空
考え方。
考え方 Human habitation.
Hito zato.
人里
内ポケット。
内ポケット
200。
200
取り出す
取り出す Oh boy. Okay. Let's go through them. This is to be born. Alright. What was... Okay, so go over these. Saki. Saki is tip, ahead, first, and future, right? Saki. We also have Sensen. Sensengetsu. Sensengetsu is a month before the last one, right? There's also Mazu. Oh no. I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I'm thinking of life. I mean, I'm thinking of first. No. We're thinking about life. Life is the trouble one. These two are the trouble ones. The life and then is this one the... So yeah, Iki. We have Iu, Nama. Iu, Nama. This might be to give birth. Got it. So troublesome. No, yeah, because to be born is umareru. Umareru, be born. This is to give birth. Is it? What are my other choices? To live and to grow. Not to grow. And what was birthplace? Oh, Ueru sounds awful. So wait. No, Ueru sounds fine. What was birthplace? Umare, Umari, Umareri. What I wouldn't give to sort this out. Um, Namabiru, Umareru. To live is Ikiru. And then this has to be give birth. I don't know. This is to grow. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Umare is birthplace. I should have. Oh, to give birth is Umu. I think one of the downsides of this character is that they're scattered. They're really scattered. Whatever. They'll all collect in together at some point. It's fine. It does trigger me quite a bit though. I think the mnemonics for clustered figures, except for especially life, is not well contrived. Especially how scattered they are. They're not associated with each other very, very well. And also, one of the weakest parts about WaniKani, which is not their focus, but doing due diligence with associating kana. Like, I disagree with most people in this case when it comes to their inherent bias to saying that hiragana is not important. But having mnemonics that bridge hiragana for like predicates, especially predicates, is very important. Saying something that's transitive and intransitive without drawing attention to like and pairing and whatnot sufficiently is what's causing this problem. It's a specific case for me though, and probably a very common thing with the character Life. Life is egregiously nebulous over time, courtesy of natural languages. Let's see.
妹
Moto. This one is special, right? Sure. This is honest, right? Honest. How does honest work? I think it's shojiki, right? Shogun and chiki.
正直
Shojiki. I was trying to figure out if it was shortened or not. Akjin. White Haku. Hakunin? Hakujin. Hakujin. Why would I choose Jean here? I don't think there's any reason other than you're used to having the ending right.
白人
Makujin. Is there a Rendaku on here? Hayakuchi. No,
早口
Hayakuchi. Oh, there are tables out. What level I am on? I'm on 7. Every 10 days. So to grow. Haeru.
生える
Yuchi.
Mimi uchi
We use the hit something thing. uh.
,500
500.
宝
Tara.
先回り
Himawari. That's a coincidence.
先々月
Sensengetsu.
ナポレオン三世
Napoleon Sansei. You got to level 7 fast? You're still on level 5? Keep it up. Keep up the good work. It's a consistent... I run on a 24-hour schedule. So it's between 10 days and 11 days every level. I don't imagine that changing because the SRS doesn't change. So the SRS is fixed at division by 4. So due to how my projects and schedules work, it's every 10 days, roughly, and between 10 and 11 days. Provided that I don't have any days off, miss any days. But I will be away every once in a while, or I will be away for 4 days in this year so far. So one of the levels are going to be like 14 days long. Possibly, depending on what I do. So you don't you can predict pretty much what level I'll be on. So that's the pace we're going. Yeah. I think the easiest or like the most convenient way is to use a site called WK Stats, WaniKani Stats. It'll give you a calculation. You can kind of see if you maintain a strict schedule like I do most of the time. I'm like plus or minus 1 or 2 hours. And even with like all the talking and discussion, you can probably chart out what your schedule is like.
Hane.
And yeah, it has some very useful ways to visualize your this. You will have to fetch an API key from your settings in WaniKani. But this has a great way to visualize things, so you can figure out what your coverage is in JLPT, for example, or maybe in the order of a person who goes through primary school, elementary school, like Joyo levels and whatnot. And it'll keep track and project as well when you level up, or if you were to keep the pace, right? Earliest possible level up, I suppose. And we're getting into our troublesome stuff. Eikatsu sounds a little weird. Seikatsu? Seikatsu or Shokatsu? I think it's Seikatsu. Most of the stuff is Sei. We have one show so far. Yeah.
生活
社会
Okay. Are you liking it? If you're still here. How's your experience so far?
直す
Naosu.
人形
Ningyo.
Chūgoku
Chungoku.
活気
Kaki. Wait. think this is just friends, right? What was expert? Wait, we could Eugene. Trying to figure out what was expert. Eugene is head of household. I think this is just friend. It's youth. What's the oh wait. So what are our radicals? Folding stool and I think expert was May, right? Meiji. I'm guessing this is still friend. Can't think of anything else. Okay. Not quite the word I use more often. Wait. No, yeah.
Using.
Usually.
Chi.
She.
Hyaku.
Yaku. Seigatsu? Or is it Shogatsu? Shogatsu sounds better. Right.
正月
Gatsu. What is
Un. 言い方。
言い方. Oh, there, Valentine.
Katachi.
Adachi. I've been doing well. Thanks for asking. How are you lately? Our routine has largely stayed the same until today. We are switching it up a little today. We finished playing Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii for the time being. Oh, Rendaku. Mr. Rendaku. That's fine.
Ashikubi.
Could be.
かき氷
Mori. Okay. All right, let's do the 2 before 8, right?
体内
Hi, night. Super busy? I can insanely busy. Jeez. Are you insanely busy now?
外国
That sounds fantastic. Being insanely busy. Hopefully manageably insanely busy. Gaikoku. All right. So let's review this. Right. All right. Harmonics. Wing box. Wing box lack stamp. Husband, clan, boat, fish, yellow, black, circumference, table, temple, gate, gate, self, teacher, top hat, bird, and elephant. Okay. Yuka. Yuka. You. That's it. And. Tsu. I. Itsu. Mi. Matsu. O. Natsu. Jaku. Tsu. O. Yo. I. Yuki. Eh. Alright. Okay. Right. So goal. Goal. What was our slip up? No. To grow. This was from yesterday. Mieru, to be visible. In dialect. You're hitting the brakes for a bit. You felt the burnout incoming? Oh, that's great that you see it coming. Not completely stopping, but instead of full throttle, it'll be more than half for a while. Restraint, discipline, I like it. You're searching for more ways to expand your grammar studies as well. I don't know if you're using Bunpo wrong or what, but It just doesn't feel effective. Interesting. I think you are one of the first to speak of some reservations about Boon Pro. You're hitting a wall as you move into the N4 stuff. I see, I see. As far as I know, in terms of the N4 stuff, I think I only have like 2/3 of it. But most of that was just implicitly learning from Duolingo. Out of curiosity. It's the end of our WaniKani session today. I do have a second cupcake today. My yesterday was a rainbow and a cloud, like in the clouds and stuff. But my parents bought 4 cupcakes. I don't know what the 4th one looks like, but we have 2 of the 4. Here's the other cupcake. I don't know what type of flower this is supposed to be, but it kind of reminds me of a Palmaria, only it's not white tipped. It doesn't fade into white. But yeah, we have a second cupcake. Yesterday is the was the 38th year of life, so we ate something that was like, it had like a sour strip on top for the rainbow curled around with some clouds and blue sky. And today, as planned, we are starting Duolingo Spanish. Everything is still on schedule. All right, so that lovely note aside, that's the end of WaniKani today. If you blink, these half days tend to happen, right? So that's the end of our Japanese session today. You shouldn't say I don't know if I'm using it wrong. I know for sure I am. I can't focus as it requires. It's tough to sit down and really hammer in a single grammar point over and over again. Yeah. Finding alternative motivations to using that grammar is probably something. Yes, vamos. I find that for grammar points, I like making funny sentences with the grammar points or bending over backwards for it. The SRS doesn't work as well for me with grammar as it does with kanji, that's for sure. I would probably, if I had to predict, right, if I had to predict the whole like sentence mining and whatnot, and then using that as an example of a grammar thing, like the reverse engineering, I like seeing the sentence and then seeing how regularly the grammar flows. So whenever I go to say something, I use my native language to spark grammar points that I want to look up. So like for example, that would be a grammar point I would look up. Transitional things. As far as I remember, I need to look up the grammar point for that. As far as I remember. I know the words as far as I remember, but I need the grammar structure for how to do that in a sentence, right? So those are my things. And then if I needed a specific grammar, this is anecdotal, obviously. If you want the grammar point, like if you're learning based on prescriptions, so like like N4, then you kind of have to reverse engineer it. So now it's like, well, I learned some new vocabulary words today. Can I smash it into this new grammar structure? How many ways can I smash my vocabulary into the grammar structure? As opposed to using whatever they provide. So I imagine you conservatively have enough Japanese words in which you want to say certain things, and find very creative ways to contextually make useful sentences with that grammar point. Yeah, that's where the Duolingo thing came in. But yeah, but that's off Duolingo's way of teaching, quote unquote, teaching grammar. So I haven't participated in other things other than, oh yeah, that's definitely how you say that. Like reading context sentences, like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You still make really silly mistakes. I use the word silly. Don't worry. I know you wrote that, but you still make silly mistakes conjugating stuff. You feel like I should be not making these mistakes anymore. It's kind of hard to explain. I understand that. I mean, I'll give you an example today. This thing crops up inconsistently. Like this, I know it's not specifically grammar, but this is the closest thing I have on hand. Like this character, the life character, I pause. And when you think about it in a way, if you're doing something and you're consistently doing it, and then suddenly a very particular thing comes up and it does feel kind of bad, but we have to keep reminding ourselves how many times when you're not making a mistake, right? And I understand. This is actually one of my criticisms about SRS, so bear with me. I'm not sure how much SRS takes up your time, but generally speaking, it does not normalize behavioral responses and strategies and coping strategies or like creative thinking when you encounter human error, right? I think the mistakes you are making right now, the ones that you are referring to, that's kind of hard to explain, is things that are human error prone. And human error is often brushed off as something that you don't need to experience or address or get creative about, right? Those are the types of mistakes I'm thinking you're trying to share with me, not the mistakes in which you're like, oh, I just don't know that. Oh, that's new to me. Oh, I'm getting this confused. The mistakes we're probably talking about here is you have like a 98% consistency rate on this thing, but those 1 or 2% suddenly when it happens, you're like, I shouldn't be making those mistakes. But there are many evidence in this in which you do something so consistently that at some point you will make that mistake even though you shouldn't be, right? And I think one of the drawbacks, I'm going to call this a drawback, but it's not really, it's for like awareness. SRS makes it so that these types of inconsistencies are like very unrewarding. So the more often you spend using a rigid device like Duolingo, WaniKani, Pro, all the apps in general, when you make that conjugation mistake in speaking to me, for example, like if we were ever talking and then you made a conjugation mistake, we autocorrect that a lot of times. Heck, when you're typing and you make a conjugation mistake, like for example, if you type Japanese thing, I would fill in the blank, right? So the idea is if you are consistent enough expressing an idea in a sentence to another person or like a discussion, most of it fills out itself because there is one element that SRS does not account for that makes it abnormal to do. And that's when you see that one error and you have forgotten that you're like 99% on top of this thing. So maybe that's kind of the hard to explain part. I think SRS really heightens that feeling, and then you start associating words like stupid and shouldn't and whatnot. I would actually argue not that it's a great feeling or it ever changes that, but actually, the more you do it, the more likely you're going to experience that hard to explain mistake, or one would call a lapse of judgment, right? And that's what you can do about that is smile about it, because you probably know what it is. You clearly recognize it's a mistake because you know what the correct thing is, right? So there's a difference between knowing you made a mistake versus you made a mistake not knowing it's a mistake. And probably that's the closest thing, I'm guessing. Obviously, I could be way off the mark, but I think SRS, self-studying tools, are very ignorant of that, and they don't do anything to provide you feedback other than explicit instruction, right? Hey, you got this wrong. Here's the right answer. It stays static. It's the same thing that you saw the first time. It's not going to explain why you made the mistake again, or how you made the mistake, or in what nature can you address this or cope with it, perhaps. But I think sometimes these types of tools dehumanizes, right? It's lacking human touch. Most of these things are technically not, you're not talking to someone, you're not interacting with a teacher or something, right? So these we have to keep in mind and be aware that it's very hard to explain, and it does feel really negative because you're working with a tool that has no feedback when it comes to addressing. Spanish Day? Yes. We're doing it last. I have to do a Spanish introduction for Duolingo Spanish today. I'll try to keep it brief. I think I've gotten a little bit better at explaining each project since we've done this, Duolingo Japanese, Duolingo Chinese, WaniKani, Hanzahiro. We're moving on to Hanzahiro now. So I think I'm pretty good today because it's a short one. So we're gonna move straight into Hanzahiro now. Did I finish Duolingo Chinese and Japanese? No, I did not. We were taking a month to dedicate to Pirate Yakuza. So last month we completed our annual Like a Dragon game. We played through Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth in Chinese, the main story, and then all to set up Pirate Yakuza, and we finished our English playthrough of that game. So now we're gonna introduce Duolingo Spanish, and then Duolingo Japanese will continue. Duolingo Chinese is complete for the time being, provided they don't update the course. If they update the course, we'll continue Duolingo Chinese. Yeah, it doesn't tell you, hey, you're mixing up this with that, right? And making mistakes isn't necessarily a bad thing. Learning language is hard and very, very rewarding. Agreed, Valentine. And here's another thing, though. Like, you are responsible for all these things, right? You are responsible for all these things because of self-study tools. No one's telling you to say, breathe. You've made a mistake, but you know the answer, right? And when you're thinking all your thoughts, you could only you can tell yourself, like, oh, if I make this mistake next time, do I have enough context in which, like, even if this mistake, is it sufficient for communication? Because largely when you're talking and you're writing and stuff, it's the difference between saying, when you write a story on paper, you make no grammatical errors and no typos from beginning to end because you know your language really well. I don't think there's a single human author in this world who says, I write something out, I say something, and there are no human idiosyncrasies that causes like a lapse of judgment or deviation or not. In fact, that's easily one of the most identifiable parts when compared to AI generated LLM products. So if you're reading reviews and stuff, you can see these things, and that's kind of what I'm highlighting here. I think those are the hardest to explain, largely because you can't explain it. It's very difficult to explain something like that. Funny. like Valentine. And I think that's probably what you're feeling. And being constantly around SRS and tools, it's up to you, right? Become creative with that. I actually use most of my mistakes as a leverage of categorizing it and setting it aside. So whenever I catch that, it's like, oh yeah, well, these things happen. I know the right answer. Let's move along, right? Like for example, this one right here, this last one, just as a, so then we transition. I typed literally really fast, way of saying, and right when I hit enter, I'm like, that's dialect. I think that was from yesterday. So it's gonna happen, and don't make like I'm trying to be encouraging. It's not a stupid mistake. It's being human, and sometimes that's kind of beautiful. Yeah, today is Spanish or Vanish. All right. Okay. So we're really switching now. If you're gonna watch this later, arigatou gozaimasu. For those who are only interested in Japanese, minasan, mata ne. Right? Until tomorrow. And I'm gonna switch quickly here. Give me a sec.